What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you. A lot to talk about today as we have a lot of cold going on in the south to start the weekend that has pushed to the east as well. This is behind the system that brought the unfortunate severe weather again through parts of the deep south over the last couple of days. Now the cold has taken over. We're going to go back to the west again because unfortunately the relentless ugly weather continues, and more than ugly, yet another new atmospheric river going to blast California with several more inches of rain, feet of snow in the Sierra Nevadas. So we're going to show you how much is coming. And then we're going to look at the drought update. USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, releases their drought monitor every Thursday, and there has been significant improvements. Now, we are still in a drought in California, a severe drought, in fact, but there have still been significant improvements from the weeks now of heavy rain, especially really since the start of 2023 with that very active, destructive weather that has been going on, mainly in California. And then every now and then we're getting these to roll across the country like what we saw earlier this week. And unfortunately, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, parts of the Deep South, and Ohio River Valley. Behind that system that brought all of the severe weather, the chill has settled in. It is cold across the Deep South. We have frost advisories in play all the way down south of Lake Okeechobee. We have freeze watches in the blue from extreme southeast Georgia all the way down into central and the Gulf Coast of Florida. So again, it is going to be cold. To put some numbers behind those watches and advisories there, this is going to be the afternoon. And I mean, this is a big time cold, not as cold or not as impactful as the Christmas blast of cold, but certainly covering your plants worthy in the Deep South. Look at this Saturday afternoon, 37 for a high in St. Louis, 46 in Montgomery, Alabama. Only in the low to mid 50s in Orlando. For perspective, the average high temperature in Orlando for January 14th is 71. So again, a significant blast of cold, not breaking any records or anything like that, but still really cold. Now watch what happens. We have a big chunk of high pressure start to slide back in overnight tonight, and that's really going to invade the Florida peninsula. It's going to help the winds go calm. It's been a breezy day throughout parts of the Deep South. And again, that's going to sit right on top of the Florida peninsula and allow temperatures to get even colder. Look at this, even into Louisville overnight, into the upper 20s. Nashville, below freezing. Greenville, we are below freezing. And then I think upper 20s are going to be possible north of Orlando. So again, a significant blast of cold coming through. Here is that system, again, this dip in the jet stream here that brought all of the severe weather to parts of the Deep South. Even into Kentucky had confirmed tornado touchdowns. This is going to get out over the Atlantic and kind of blast parts of New England later on into the week. Already you see this steady stream of moisture from about Bermuda getting into the Canadian Maritimes as well. So a lot of heavy rain and snow coming for them. But then we're going to go out west. Look at this. See that swirl right off the west coast. Right off the coast of California, the darker blues in this and oranges represent that moisture getting ready to, unfortunately, again, slam California. Here it is on the computer forecast. This is going to be the relative humidity, and the darker green represents where we have that moisture. There is that river of moisture, the atmospheric river. That's why it's called that, because it's that narrow kind of ribbon of moisture in the atmosphere that then gets unloaded whenever it hits land. And you see that here, pretty much all of California, very green, representing that moisture again, surging into California. Once it hits the mountains, we always talk about this again, that moisture gets lifted, it gets enhanced, and you get even heavier precip rates. And in the Sierra Nevadas, we are talking about a ton of snow. We have already seen feet upon feet upon feet of snow in the Sierra Nevadas. A crazy winter. I'm going to show you how much more snow is yet to come in a couple of minutes. By the way, if you are finding this video helpful, or if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help us out a lot. And if you love tracking the weather or staying informed of the weather, you've come to the right place. Consider hitting that subscribe button. We would love to have you on board. So the rain here, this is through Tuesday. It's not as much as where it has been. Nonetheless, we're talking about a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain in the lower elevations and foothills of California. I think isolated amounts, mainly in the Bay Area, could be reaching 3 to 6 inches of rain. Certainly, any kind of additional moisture is going to add in that mudslide flash flood threat because the ground just can't take anymore. A lot of it's running off, and that's part of the reason why we are still in a drought. But we have a lot to make up. The reservoirs need to be filled up and all that. But we have had significant improvements. This red color here on the drought monitor, this is put out every Thursday by the United States Department of Agriculture. It runs from Tuesday to Tuesday. That is the week that is covered. And then on Thursdays, their findings are released. So again, this is right from the USDA. And this red color represents where an extreme drought was or is in the cases of Nevada, Washington, certainly out into the plains, parts of Nevada. That is all but gone in California. Less than 1% of the state, that little nub there in Northern California, remains in an extreme drought. Okay? There have been improvements, even though we are still in a severe drought. That's that orange color here. And then a moderate drought is in that kind of beigeish color. So a drought still continues in California, but there have been significant improvements. The extreme drought, it's now severe. It doesn't seem like that, but we will take what we can get. It has been so long since we have seen any kind of moisture slide on through. It's unfortunately come at a cost with a lot of damage and a lot of loss of life with the floods and mudslides going on, but there have been improvements there in the drought. It's going to take some time. We need to fill up some of the reservoirs, even though those are improving as well. All of the crazy snow that's been going on in the Sierra Nevadas is going to help as we get deeper into the spring. We start getting the snowmelt. That's going to help to replenish those reservoirs even further. So some good news there, again, that this crushing snow at least continued. Now, it's a lot. Crazy amounts of snow have already fallen. And we're talking about from the weekend to Tuesday night, an additional 3 to 6 feet of snow. The snow is above mailboxes there, and that's being conservative. There is so much snow in the mountains here. Ski lovers' dream. And again, this will help the reservoirs as we get the snow melt in as we get into spring and into summer. But look at that, 46 inches of Mammoth Lakes. Where you're seeing that kind of white color pop up, that gray color here, that's pushing 6 feet of snow. In some places right down in here where that atmospheric river is going to be kind of focused in the southern Sierras, we could go more than 6 feet of snow. But you see it there, South Lake Tahoe. Almost said South Lake Taco. Know what I'm having for dinner tonight. 2 feet of snow. And again, more the further south you go. So there is a ton of extra snow coming to the Sierras. So if you like snow, this has been your pattern. Again, it's been destructive, though, for places, especially when you're talking about the rain in Western California, right along the coast, especially. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you watching, as always. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you found this helpful or informative, or if you like tracking the weather. We would appreciate that. And again, heads up, California, it's still going to be a rocking couple of days, really through the middle of this week, and then the pattern starts to change a little bit. We're going to see this moisture start to be directed towards the Pacific Northwest, and then the pattern, the jet stream, the active jet through the Pacific is going to ease a little bit. So we are going to see some improvements in the rain situation now. But again, be mindful of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.